So let me ask you something. I'm assuming you've been watching YouTube videos, scrolling Zillow, maybe even saving neighborhoods on Google Maps, and you're starting to feel like you have a pretty good handle on the Richmond real estate market, right? And every video that you've watched has probably given you the same list of where to live. The Fan, Carytown, Short Pump, great schools, great food, and way more affordable than DC, right? That's what you're hearing all the time. Listen, all of that is actually true. But here's the thing. Nobody is telling you what you actually need to know before you start calling an agent and touring home. Nobody's telling you the stuff that could save you from making a $400,000 mistake in Richmond. Friends, that is what we're doing today. I'm gonna give you the real Richmond, the stuff most agents are not gonna say out loud, because my job is not to just sell you a house. My job is to make sure that you end up in the right home. Hey friends, I'm Sonali Hutson with Hutson Realty Group, and I serve both Hampton Roads and the greater Richmond area. And I wanna be honest with you guys about something right up front, because if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I specialize in Hampton Roads. However, Richmond is not just a market that I cover. It's a city that I have a deep personal connection to. See guys, I first came to Richmond in 1999, and something that happened here changed the trajectory of my entire life. Y'all, I gave my life to Christ right here in Richmond, Virginia, and I honestly never permanently left Virginia after that. So when I tell you that I know Richmond, I mean that on more than just a professional level. I am here regularly, walking neighborhoods, visiting friends and family, meeting people, and building real relationships right in the community. Because the people I serve deserve an agent who actually knows what they are talking about, not just someone who pulled up a zip code on Google, okay? So if you're seriously thinking about relocating to Richmond, Virginia, I want to help you put together a real personalized game plan. You can call me, you can text me, or just click the link in the description to book a free consultation. Guys, I tell you, it is no pressure, just honest advice and good friendship. Okay, let's go ahead and get into today's video. Here's the first thing that most agents are not gonna tell you about living in Richmond, and y'all, this one is big. The Richmond market has shifted, and most agents are still talking to you like it was 2022. Here's what the data actually shows right now. As of early 2026, homes in Richmond are sitting on the market for an average 30 days before going under contract. And you know what that number was just a year ago? 18. That is a significant change. And what it means for you as a relocating buyer is that you have more breathing room and more negotiating power than you probably think that you have right now. But here's why most agents will not say that out loud. Because urgency sells. You better move fast or you're gonna miss it, is how a lot of agents operate. And sometimes that is genuinely true. You've heard me say it, if you sleep on it, you're not gonna sleep in it. The right house at the right price in the right neighborhood is still going to move very quickly. But the blanket panic, that's not the full picture anymore, especially not in the Richmond market. Listen, I believe in giving you the truth so that you can make a wise decision, not pressure you so that you can make a fast decision. There's a real difference there, and that difference can cost you thousands of dollars if you're not careful. So guys, here's what I want you to do. Take a breath. You still need to be prepared and ready to move when the right house comes along. But you're not walking into a war zone anymore like we were walking into during COVID, okay? You are walking into a more strategic market, and strategy beats panic every single time. Here's the second thing most agents aren't gonna tell you, and this is the one that I wish somebody had explained to me earlier in my career, because it changes everything about how you approach your home search, okay? Now, Richmond is just not one market, it is three, and which one you are actually buying in changes your entire experience from beginning to end. Now, I know you're like, Sonali, what does that mean? So let me break it down for you. The first market is under $350,000, and y'all, this is actually the most competitive segment in Richmond right now in 2026. First-time home buyers, investors, and people coming in from higher cost cities are all chasing the same limited inventory at this price point, which means if this is your range, you need to be fully approved before you start touring homes. You need to be decisive when the right home comes along, and you need an agent like me who can move quickly and strategically with you. Now, the second market is gonna be $350,000 to about $550,000 range, and this is where most relocating families are landing. It's competitive, but more balanced. You're still gonna see multiple offer situations sometimes, especially on move-in ready homes, but you're also gonna have real room to negotiate if a house has been sitting for a few weeks or if it needs a lot of work. Now, the third market is gonna be the $550,000 and up market, and this one is actually the most favorable for buyers right now. luxury homes are taking longer to sell. Sellers are more motivated, and there's more room for concessions, repairs, and price negotiation than there's been in many years. Let me tell you why this matters so much. I was working with a couple who was relocating from Northern Virginia, and I love them. They came in convinced that they needed to be aggressive and move lightning fast on everything because they've been watching the market and everything they wanted was just not on the market. The experience that they had in Northern Virginia was different than the experience they had here. But based on their budget, they were actually shopping in the second market, the balanced range, and the urgency they had built up in their minds was creating real stress for all of us, and it was not necessary for their situation. So once we sat down and I explained to them which market they were actually in and what the real competition looked like at their price point, everything began to shift. They went from anxious and reactive to calm and strategic, and they ended up negotiating over $10,000 in seller concessions on a home that they absolutely love. Now here's the thing, friends. Most agents give relocating buyers one big blanket answer about the Richmond market, but your experience is going to be completely different depending on your price range. And if your agent is not having that specific conversation with you, then I'm sorry, but you're just not getting the full picture, okay? Now the third thing that most agents won't tell you is about the neighborhoods, and this one is personal for me because I see people make this mistake all the time. Yes, everyone knows about the Fan, Churchill, Carytown, and they're absolutely everything that people say they are. Beautiful historic architecture, walkability, incredible restaurants. I genuinely love those areas. But here's what I tell every single client who comes to me with stars in their eyes over those neighborhoods. The most popular areas in Richmond are already priced at a premium, y'all. And the smart money in 2026 is not chasing what is already hot. It's moving toward what is becoming hot, okay? Friends, I need you to hear me out on this one. I've watched people fall in love with the idea of a neighborhood, the vibe, the aesthetic, the weekend brunch spots, and then move in and realize their commute is brutal or parking is a nightmare and the school situation does not work for their family at all. They end up having to put their kids in private school. The house that looks perfect in a YouTube video and the house that actually works for your daily life are not always going to be the same, and you need to know that going into it. So where is the smart money actually going in 2026? Guys, listen, North Side, specifically Bellevue and Ginter Park, is getting serious attention right now. I'm talking about historic homes, tree-lined streets, real community feel, and square footage that you simply cannot find in the city core. Generally in the mid 400s up into the 700s, depending on the home that you're buying. Now, Bon Air and Midlothian on the south side are where families with school-age kids keep landing. There's more space, excellent schools, and generally in the $500,000 to $800,000 range for a solid single-family home. And then there are the transitional neighborhoods, areas where mixed-use zoning is bringing in coffee shops, markets, and new development. And these are where people who want to buy now and see real appreciation later are paying very close attention. The way to spot one of these neighborhoods is to look for the signs of early investment, a new brewery, an independent coffee shop, a yoga studio, a farmer's market popping up on weekends. Those things do not show up by accident, okay? They show up because people with money and vision are already betting on that block. The bottom line is this, friends. Don't let social media choose your neighborhood, and do not let an agent steer you toward what is easy to sell. Let your actual life, your commute, your children, your budget, your priorities choose your neighborhood. That is the only list that matters. Now listen, if y'all want to go even deeper on Richmond neighborhoods specifically, I actually made a whole video walking through several of the neighborhoods in detail, and I'll link that video down below. That's gonna save you so much time and get you off of Zillow, okay? Now the fourth thing that most agents won't tell you, and this one can sneak up on you fast if nobody warned you ahead of time, is about the real cost of living in Richmond, Virginia. Y'all listen, I'm not just talking about the sticker price on the house, okay? Cost of living is more than your mortgage payment. I'm talking about what happens after you sign the contract and after you get those keys, okay? Here is the one that gets people every single time, and that's property taxes. Property taxes inside the city of Richmond are higher than in surrounding counties. Now, they're not dramatically higher where it's gonna make a big difference, but enough to matter every single month when your mortgage statement comes in. A home valued around $400,000 inside the city limits could carry annual property taxes somewhere around $4,800 to $5,200. And when you cross the line into Chesterfield County or Henrico County with that same priced home, that number looks a little bit different, okay? Now, that's not a reason for you to avoid a Richmond city address. It's a reason to know the full cost before you fall in love with a specific zip code. Now, here's the other side of this though, and I want to make sure I give you the full picture. The overall cost of living in Richmond runs about 5% lower than the national average, and compared to most East Coast major cities, your dollar is genuinely going to stretch here here in a way that surprises a lot of people who relocate to Richmond. Groceries, utilities, dining out, it's all gonna add up in your favor here. So the complete picture is actually really, really good. But you have to be looking at the complete picture and not just your mortgage payment, not just what you think you can afford. What is the property tax rate in that specific city versus a different city or the county? Is there an HOA, and what does your HOA actually cover? What are utilities going to look like in that square footage during a Virginia summer and a Virginia winter? Because some of these older homes have extremely high gas and electric bills. These are the conversations to have before you fall in love with the house, not after. And I'm gonna walk you through every single one of these things throughout our home buying process, because home ownership should be a blessing and not a burden. The only way to make sure it stays a blessing is to go in with your eyes completely wide open. Okay, friends, we talked a lot about Richmond today, so let's bring this all together and tie it together with a cute little bow. Moving to Richmond, Virginia in 2026 is genuinely a great decision. The economy is strong, the culture is incredible, the cost of living gives you real breathing room compared to most East Coast cities, and this is a community that will genuinely surprise you with how quickly it starts to feel like home. But you need to go in informed. You need to know which of the three markets you are actually buying in, okay? Know that you have more negotiating power than the urgency around you might suggest. Know that the famous neighborhoods are already priced at a premium and the smart money is moving toward what is next. And know the full cost of your zip code before you commit to it. Now see, friends, these are the things that most agents are not gonna tell you. And that is exactly what you needed to hear before you make the move to Richmond, Virginia. So if you're thinking about relocating to Richmond, Virginia, and you want someone in your corner who is going to give it to you straight, no chaser, all you have to do is shoot me a text at 757-837-0096. You can also email me at homes@sonalihutson.com. But guys, the easiest thing, book a consultation. It's free, it's no obligation, and the link is right here in the description. So whether you're 9 days out, 90 days out, or 9 years out, trust me, I can help you put together a game plan for relocating to Richmond, Virginia. Friends, thank you so much for watching my channel. Your support absolutely means the world to me. Don't forget to check out the resources in the link in the description. I love hearing from buyers just like you who reach out to me every day to talk to me about relocating to or from Hampton Roads, to or from the greater Richmond area, or in some place in Virginia. And guys, as I'm driving this I-64 corridor, I want to be your real estate expert to help you navigate this process with ease. I'll see you in the next video. God bless you.